It is morning, and I'm in a very good mood because of the ride I'm about to embark on. I'm getting off from the ship at the new port of Venice. Although I often accuse Greek people for our disorganization, I will say that here we had trouble finding the way out to the autostrada. The weather is cloudy, but I saw on my cell phone that it won't rain today, so I'm not worried about that. Not that rain would change anything on our trip, but if it did, the ride would be very tiring and our shots won't come out that good. So it's something that we don't want to have. Our goal for today is to reach the Dolomites in the Alps to ride the Pordoi Pass, then the Sella Pass, and arrive in Innsbruck where we will spend the night. The route is approximately 330 kilometers and requires more than 5 hours of riding. We haven't booked a hotel, as we believe that we will find a good and affordable one when we get there. We are heading north on Highway A27 to Belluno. In this tunnel, I am really impressed by the lighting, because the light sources are covered so as not to cause any glare. This creates the effect that you see, as if each light is being turned on one after another. We get off the highway at the exit for Belluno to follow the provincial road that will take us up the mountain. The road from here is one lane in each direction and passes through villages and cities like Belluno. The route is full of greenery, while far away the peaks of the Alps stand out, an image that allures me once again. We pass by a gordo and make a stop at Alleghe Lake to drink an espresso and eat a croissant. Alleghe Lake is a beautiful tourist resort on the Alps at an altitude of 1,000 meters, and it is known for its hiking trails and the nearby ski center, the Civetta ski area, which is one of the largest in the world, with more than 1,250 kilometers of slopes. Our stop here lasted about 40 minutes, and then we hit the road again to head to Araba. The road from here on out is narrower, while the scenery is more mountainous as we ascend. The area got its name from a mineral called Dolomite, which this mountain range is made of. The funny thing is that on my first trip here, I thought the name came from its pointed peaks, or mites, which is the Greek word for this. I read that in the past, Dolomites was called Pale Mountains, but this changed in the 19th century when the existence of this rock was found in the region. The Dolomites was declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO in August 2009. However, being where I am, driving at such an altitude and having these views around me really excites me. It is one of the reasons I love this part of Europe. I arrive in Araba, where I make a stop to wait for my friend. Here begins the Pordoi Pass, which is one of the best places to admire the peaks of this mountain range of the Alps. Araba is also a well-known resort because of the ski center, but in the summer looks very lively as well, as it is visited by cyclists and hikers where they enjoy the magic the mountain has to offer. We begin riding the Pordoi Pass, and I really enjoy the landscape surrounding me. I ride slowly and really feel the mountain. It's been years since I've wanted to visit these places, but for various reasons I couldn't. After a few kilometers, we reach the plateau below the peaks, where we make a stop to enjoy the view. The pass crosses the plateau Sella, reaching an altitude of 2,239 meters. It is the second highest paved road after the Sella Pass, which we will ride later when we head to Innsbruck. The highest peak here is called Cima Pisciado, and it is at an altitude of 2,985 meters. Our stop here lasted about an hour, and then we begin to descend the other side of the pass this time, heading to the northwest side of the Dolomites. The view is very impressive, so I drive slowly to enjoy it. After 6.5 kilometers, we turn right to ascend the Sella Pass, the highest in the Dolomites. The peaks stand out in the background, leaving us speechless. If you saw the scenery in a different scale, it would look as if someone threw rocks between some plants. As we go up, the road is becoming more curvy, while the trees gradually disappear from the scenery. Of course, as we reach the highest point, we make a stop for some photos, but also for grabbing something to eat, as it's past 3 o'clock, and our stomachs are starting to grumble. Sella Pass reaches an altitude of 2,244 meters and passes between the Sella Tower's peaks, which has an altitude of 2,696 meters, and Gromanspitze Peak at an altitude of 3,126 meters. During our descent from here, we passed a police roadblock with radar, which I didn't expect to see up here. Fortunately, my attention is on the landscape, and although the road is straight, I drove slowly to really enjoy it, so I got lucky. And if you happen to come up behind a bus on this road, well, then you're So you need to be patient and try not to overtake with some dangerous moves. As we descend, the scenery becomes full of firs. Further on, we come across Selva Gardina, where unfortunately there's a lot of stop-and-go traffic. This village of 2,637 inhabitants is located in the Val Gardina Valley, and it's a starting point for excursions to the nearby mountains for hiking, climbing, mountaineering, and skiing. From this point on, we move west as we want to get to the Autostrada in order to head to Innsbruck. There is a bit of traffic, and on the road we come across a few strange vehicles. Gradually, time fatigue sets in, as we have traveled 35 hours by boat to Venice, where we slept on the deck with a sleeping bag. So all I can think of is reaching my destination, taking a shower, and relaxing a little bit. We reach the Autostrada and head towards Brenner. From here, the road leads directly up to Innsbruck. As for the tolls you'll come across, it's a good idea to have bills handy, as coins won't be enough, as in Italy, tolls are quite expensive. If you're a little bit distracted, you won't even realize you've crossed the border or the transition from the Autostrada to the Austrian Autobahn. Innsbruck is just 29 kilometers from the border. We see that there's a lot of traffic on the oncoming lane, and we are glad that our side is clear. We ran into some traffic when we got off the Autobahn, but fortunately only for a short distance. We arrive in Innsbruck and head towards the center, as we have stamped a couple of hotels that we liked when we checked them out on my phone. We eventually stayed in one a few kilometers out of the center because the ones I mentioned before charged for parking separately, and that didn't fit our budget. My first impression of the city, even though I was on my motorcycle, wasn't what I expected. Even though objectively it is a very beautiful city, when you have heard so many good things about a place, sometimes what you see in the end doesn't live up to what you had imagined. This happened to me here. But after I walked in the center, my feelings changed, as the colorful buildings, people, horse-drawn carriages, and the surrounding mountains creates a beautiful scenery. And not in a village, but in a city of 190,000 inhabitants. Innsbruck was built at the junction of the Sill River and the Inn River. Its name means bridge over the Inn River, and is the capital of the federal state of Tyrol. It is a famous spot for winter sports, and the Winter Olympics occurred here in 1964 and 1976. The valley here stretches to an altitude of 575 meters, and the mountains that surround it are the Norket at an altitude of 2,334 meters on its north side, and in the south, Pacherkofel Peak at 2,246 meters, and Serles Peak at 2,718 meters. The historic center is impressive, as classical Tyrolean architecture harmoniously coexists with colorful Baroque and Renaissance buildings. On a sunny day like this, you'll really enjoy strolling around and visiting the shops on the busy streets. And it's such a clean city that I felt that even if my food falls on the ground, I can still eat it. The attractions in and around the city are plenty, but the time that we had at our disposal didn't allow us to see anything else except the city center. Innsbruck is also lively in the evening with many dining options. You must remember, however, that restaurants in all Central European countries do not stay open late, so it is advisable to plan accordingly. This first day was really full of enjoyable trails and beautiful scenery. Our next stop will be at Eagle's Nest and Lake Königssee in southern Germany.